Okay, and just some general recommendations. The most important thing is to be authentic in who you are. When you're going into a networking situation, people can feel who's nervous and who's false. You might be talking to that New Yorker who's looking over your shoulder the whole time. They're not really listening. That's not really going to be good. You get someone who comes up to you and says, you ought to hire me because of blah, blah, blah. And you're like, whatever. Remember, people are humans. You need to have the conversation. If you're authentic with who you are, they're going to feel that and it's going to put them at ease. Have a couple of key questions in the back of your pocket that when you are trying to find someone, it's good. And also, let me just tell you a very, very important aspect of networking. If you want a job with company X and you're just getting going and you haven't figured it out, you don't go and talk to that person right off the bat. So many people come to me like, I want to, maybe get a job in sustainability consultant. And they reach out to me and they've done no work. They don't know where they want to work, what industries, what type of specific role. And I'm like, great, you just met with the person who can tell you how to get there. What you want to do is you want to be figuring, when you're still trying to figure out who you are and your career worksheet and your resume and all that, you don't go to that golden nugget networker. You go to other people so that by the time you get to that person who's really the person you want to talk to, you've got it figured out. You've got your elevator pitch dialed in. You've got your resume tailored. You know the value that you're going to be bringing to the position. So you need to do that. And lastly, thank the person. Whether you're in person, thank them. Sometimes you're going to be in a networking situation where you get to the wrong person who's that close talker or the loud talker or the quiet talker, or and you're just trying to figure out, okay, can I extricate myself? Do so, but do so politely. But also, if you have a great conversation, thank the person. Not only thank them individually, but follow up. Follow up with an email. Don't follow up with a text or an IM. When you follow up with a text or an IM, you're basically saying you're not as important to me as someone that I would email. Plus, most people who have the jobs, Gen X and older, still email as their preferred form of communication. The other thing, when you meet with someone in person, follow up with a handwritten note. Okay, I made the example here where I have, in two hands each year I can count how many people actually write a letter. We have them up in our office. And you know what? I occasionally will go back and I'm like, oh, I wonder what Laura's up to. Maybe I'll shoot her an email. And so you want to let people know that the time that they spend with you is valued and you need to follow up. So when you're having that networking conversation, whether it's over coffee or you're meeting with someone, and they say, hey, you know what, you should talk to these three people. Then you better talk to those three people. And when you do talk to any one of those three people, you write a thank you email to the person who, let's say Dave recommended these three people. You write an email to Dave. Hey, Dave, great. Thanks for making that connection with Adam. We had a great conversation. It turns out it's probably not the right thing, but he gave me some good stuff. Thanks so much. Hey, Dave, I talked with Steve. Steve and I had a great conversation. It seems like they're not hiring right now, but they might in the future. Thanks so much. The more that you can thank somebody for what their input that they did, it's imperative that they will feel good about it. I know that when someone comes up to me and says, I had coffee with you 3 years ago and you really helped me figure out my career path, that really feels great. What it really feels great is when you hear about it within a couple of weeks or months, not 3 years later. So make sure you're following up.